Yeah. Thank you, Amrinder. Thank you so much. I see a lot of enthusiasm already built up and a lot of questions coming up. But I would like to just reiterate what Amrinder just said, that allow us to complete what we want to complete within the given time, because after that you definitely have a Q&A session and we will be happy to respond to the best of our knowledge. We will not have all the answers, but let's together find out the answers and we can go back and search on the ChatGPT. All right. So I have to log in. Here. Huh, done. Okay. I'm sorry, I am not used to of standing static for a long time, so I prefer to move around a bit. And I haven't done my workout this evening because of this event, so I would like to do a bit of that. So if you don't mind and I don't seem very distracting. Okay, so I would like to start with this little anecdote. A while back, I have a very dear friend of mine, and she has a 10-year-old son. And I went to her house, she introduced me, so this is Auntie Mandeep, and she's building a bot, and so you must, just understand from her what all she does and all that. And he says, oh really? And he did sound very excited. I said, you don't seem very excited, Aryan. What happened? He said, why are you building a bot, Auntie? I said, but why do you ask me this question? You don't want me to build a bot? I wasn't prepared to answer a question like that to a child, so that was my best saving. So he says, because I think by the time you build the bot, I'll be grown up and they will take away all our jobs and we will not find work. So don't build a bot, Nandi. I said, okay. If I don't build a bot, that's the job I do. What else do I do? So I'm in a bit of conundrum, Aryan. I don't build a bot for you, but what do I do? That's my job. He says, okay, you build a bot, but make it a little dumb, not as intelligent as the human beings, so that we can control. Imagine this coming from a 10-year-old child and the kind of fear we have built. Well, that is a possibility. Like Kunal said, I think we are all talking about possibilities. We have a bit of a knowledge which we have learned over the years, what we have read, what we've been exposed to, and certain things our human mind through our experience is also guessing. Okay? Now that is the kind of bot or the artificial intelligence we are talking about. So what we spoke of, what he largely spoke of was artificial intelligence, but this bit of a guesswork is what makes it generative AI. Okay, we call it Gen AI. What is the difference? Because AI completely worked on machine learning. So you feed whatever data you need to give it to the machines, it will go skim that data in a jiffy and bring you back what you're looking for. Okay, that is AI. What it does is it adds scale and speed. So as human minds, no matter how unique we are, but we can never match up the speed and the scale at which a machine can compute data. Okay? So I think that is what makes it superior in certain ways. Okay? You have seen, you put a command at what speed you will get an answer before you finish your prompt, you have an answer. Now, could you even think of a human being ever doing a work at that kind of a speed? We've had some very genius people, but definitely can't match up. And this computing power can be enhanced phenomenally higher and higher the more computing capacity you will add, which is not definitely easily possible at this moment for human beings. But as machines and humans come together, and I have a chip fitted here, which is quite a possibility, it can take care of my natural ability to an nth level. It can take care of my incapabilities and convert them into capabilities as well. Okay? So that is the kind of stuff this generative AI can do. Now I don't want to talk about where this technology came from. I think he's done a very good job of that. I would, since most of you I interacted before the session, I realized that you guys have your own businesses, you guys have your own companies, you're running your own organizations, and I'm sure you're already dabbling with generative AI of a kind, but there is so much we can do with this to enhance productivity, efficiency, capability, which this is not the only source you will have that I will tell you and you will start doing tomorrow, so that's a disclaimer. It's just that I will share what I've learned, and from there, if you find something really useful, I'll be happy. And it'll be a learning that I'll go back with as well. So quickly, I will just, first, there's a very interesting video I have. I will make it more multimedia, that's how we are now. We watch more reels and read more books. So I will use that for your knowledge. So I'll play this small video and it will tell you what GenAI is all about.
In today's tech-driven world, there is a fascinating concept emerging at the forefront of artificial intelligence. It's called generative AI, and it's changing the way we think, create, and interact with machines. But what exactly is generative AI, and why is it causing such a stir in the tech community? Well, let's take a deep dive and demystify generative AI. Talk about AI in a broader context. Most of what we see in AI today is really machine learning. Machine learning enables computer systems with the ability to learn from examples. The algorithms that enable machines to do impossible are termed as neural networks. One main way they learn is by being given lots of examples to learn from. For example, if we want to teach a network how to recognize a cat, then that would involve a human introducing the network to lots of examples of what a cat looks like and tagging its images accordingly. That's how the model learns to distinguish between cat and all the details in an image. So in short, every AI model requires a specific kind of input and a training to perform a certain task. As in case of cat image detection, it requires a multitude of cat images for training so that it would be able to predict whether a new image is cat or not. But unlike traditional AI, generative AI goes one step further. A generative model can take what it has learned from the examples and create something entirely new based on that particular information. Hence the word generative. Large language models such as BARD, ChatGPT are one type of generative AI since they generate new combinations of text in the form of natural sounding language. That's not it. We also have tools like DALL-E, Imagine, AudioLM, Finaki that can create images, audios as well as video outcomes once provided with textual command. Wondering how this works? Well, let me shed some light on that. Similar to traditional AI, generative AI requires three things: data, training, and model. The data is like a treasure chest for the generative AI model. It's a collection of images, text, or anything we want it to learn from. For instance, if we want the AI to create beautiful landscape, we feed it loads of pictures of nature. Now comes the training part. This is when our AI learns from the data. Just like how we learn from experience and improve our skills, the AI model learns by recognizing patterns and gaining insights from the data we provide. It's like teaching the robot step by step, guiding it through the creative process. The ML models employed to create generative models are generative adversarial networks or GANs and variational autoencoders. It can create remarkably lifelike images of things it has never seen before, like generating stunning realistic human pictures or even dreamlike landscapes, or even designing artificial clothing to composing original music. It can do it all. In a sense, generative AI is an unprecedented leap in AI technology, one that opens up infinite possibilities for creativity, innovation, and human-machine interaction. So make sure to make use of wide array of tools generative AI brings to the table and await more astounding revelations in the AI domain. And that's a wrap.
Yeah, so simply put, what generative AI is doing, it is not picking up something straight from the network. So what happened in internet? So you would ask something, it will bring from whatever it is on the internet, exactly the way, whether it's a link or it's an image. You ask for some images, you want to wish someone, show me some birthday images and all that. Send me some. It has been pre-fed in the same manner and exactly what it used to pull out and share it with you. For generative AI, it's a large language model. It is learning the language of human beings. It is making sense of the language like a human brain does and adds a bit of creativity to it like we humans do. So it will never give you an image that you will ask as it is lying in the entire database. Now that database can be connected or not connected, it depends on the box that you're running your LLM model on. Okay, so it will bring in everything that is defined as your ask. Okay, like that cat. It will use draw a picture of a cat. It will not pull out a picture of a cat from the internet, from all the database. It will join all the pictures which are lying on the internet of cat and create one based on that. That's why we say it's creative. It's original, it's unique. But well, it's like human intelligence. We also learn whatever is available in the universe. Okay? So that is how generative AI is different and it is as updated as you would have trained that model. Okay? If you updated it till yesterday, you will get the information as of updated yesterday or till last minute. And as we are going with time, these models, the paid ones, the higher versions of that are trained as of yesterday, as of last minute. So that's how we are investing in them. And that kind of interestingly makes me compare it with human mind. I love to understand human mind now through Gen AI. Do you realize what your cognizant mind does? Whatever you've learned over the years, whatever you've stored in your brain, if somebody asks a question, you answer based on that. But what happens when you sleep? Do you remember any dreams when you've been to places you've never been in your awakened life? Have you seen the things that you've actually never seen in your life? Does it happen? It happens to me. I've met the people, the faces I've never seen. And that is so much like generative. Your brain works like a generative AI when you're sleeping. It is churning out all the images, all the stories, all the knowledge that you've ever fed and just running the prompts which were the last thought on your mind and producing and churning out pictures. So brain has that generative AI already. And they say mostly you want to get a creative idea, sleep over it. And when you wake up, you have so many bulbs, flickering in your mind. And that is the thought on which generative AI is built. But in order to stay glued on to this rapidly evolving world, what do you need as human beings? Well, you guys are already very senior people who've really been there, done that. However, what keeps us glued on is the curiosity to learn and explore what is happening around in the world, agility to adapt to what is happening, and change is the only constant as we know. So, learn to embrace the change. Having done that, let's see what all has been happening in this space, which is actually now applied in the world of business. So remember those small chatbots that started some 7 to 10 years back? We were putting a query, every time you go online for something, it will open that bot pop-up. You have some question, please ask a question. You ask a question, you get an answer on your phones, also it happens. What happens? These are canned responses. So at that stage, you imagine that for this question, you will have 10 responses at best. So you will put all those responses into your box, and every time based on your question, it will say select from menu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how it is designed. It will pick up the answer, give it to you. That was a very linear version of that. How it evolved over a year, now you know that there is a language play. You can change the language. It is far more trained on machine learning basis rather than just picking up the canned responses. You get all these humanoid calls. These days, I'm sure most banks are making calls. These are not human beings calling you. These are the bots calling you. They understand your on-the-fly questions. which are not canned responses. They make sense of it because the quality of training is far more involved. There's a bit of AI involved in that, which means a lot of training happening simultaneously. What is the future? The future is going to be a lot of things like the seamless human-like bots. They'll be like something like what he was saying. We'll be half humans, half bots. God knows what we are, what our next 2-3 generations are going to be, and eventually where the world takes us. But let's not go that far. This is another example of that. So there is this new term. So we learned from AI to Gen AI. Now what is agentic AI? I'm sure you're now learning and listening a lot of agentic AI. Now what is this new animal species which has come after generative? We hardly got grip of generative AI and we're talking of agentic AI. Now what is the difference? Generative AI was evolved version of AI. Okay, I hope now we are all on the same page. That was only following your prompts. Okay, you asked a question, it responded an answer. Okay, you asked for some research, it pulled out all the knowledge it had over its entire database, spit it out, this is what you looked for. Now, agentic AI, as a human being, we thought that's not good enough. Now, you've given me information, what is my next best action? How do I decide on that? Because you give me so much information. Now, even to process that information, I need to take an action or to take a decision. How do I take that decision? Now, that is the next step of AI. It will first provide you information, then it will help you decide what is the best course of action, and then act. Now the third angle is it will even act. So imagine a scenario, I want to book a ticket, I want to travel to Bombay, and I can give my systems have to be integrated. I give a command. Earlier was that please tell me the kind of flights that I can get from Chandigarh to Mumbai, the cheapest possible within this time frame, and which can land me at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock in Bombay. It will go tell me all the flights that are available. Now, next thing I want is, once it has selected the flight for me, why don't you go and book that flight for me? So I can design my system in a way, it will go and book that flight for me, provided I have put my access to my bank account or my, say, Google Pay or whatever, and it books the ticket, gives it to me, and then I tend to maybe decide, no, that's not a great choice. If I give it back, it learns from that. So typically, agentic AI works on this 4-step thing, we call it GPAL. Goal. You first set a goal. What is your goal? What is it that you want to achieve? Planning. How do you plan that goal? How do you plan to achieve that goal? Act. How to act on that, and then how to learn from that. Okay? So that is how it works, and that is somewhere in this middle of it, you decide what is the best course, where the human decision needs to be there. I don't want to give so much autonomy to my bot or any platform, LLM or agentic AI, that it books a ticket for me, takes my money from my account. I want to see before it's booked. I want to put my okay there before the booking is done. That's called your decision of human in the loop. You must be hearing of that a lot, human in the loop, human in the loop. So that is where you decide, it's a very linear version of that, but this is how you decide, that's where you decide how much it needs to be totally automated and how much it has to be controlled by a human being. So that is how agentic AI work, and let's see one example of that. Symbol is a bot.
Yes, I found it.
Make sure there's no debris such as leaves or mud covering the sensor. Then wipe the sensor clean with a soft cloth.
Okay, all done.
Great, let's turn the car back on and see if things are working.
Save some time. So you understood the concept, okay? It not only detected the error in your car, it told you what to do, didn't work, set an appointment with the nearest mechanic of your town so that you can go and meet the mechanic and get your car fixed. So it is about acting on it. Then we come next to this. What else does GenAI do? So it is helping you with hyper personalizing of your customers' choices. Right now, we don't have the capability. Like I said, I keep going back to scale and speed. As organizations, we have so much data. At every touch point, we say, oh, give me 4 stars, 5 stars, just give me comment, take feedback, ring the bell when you're happy. We're generating a lot of data from the customers. But potentially, none of the organizations has the capability to process that data in that much quantum. So what we end up doing typically in organizations, we take 10% of the sample, make some reading, put some logics, some cherry picking, some stratified thinking and say, oh, this is what my customer wants. Based on that limited wisdom, we go and create a product, which sometimes works, sometimes don't work. GenAI is giving you the capability to process that high amount of data and giving you precisely what Mandeep wants, what Varun wants, what Vivek wants, what Amrinder wants. Because they've been watching your behavior, they've seen your history, they are seeing what are your preferences, how you are behaving in a festive season and a non-festive season. You are leaving a stamp at every platform you go, and that entire wisdom is available to that bot who's constantly creating your persona. So what it does, it helps you put forward a product which is customized and curated just for you. That's one, hyper-personalization. Second is efficiency. I think I've already spoken about it. It adds to a lot of efficiency to the way of working. And sometimes the third thing that it does is a very interesting. So here, before that, I'll skip this video. I'll just tell you verbally because I don't want, she already has a session, so I don't want to take away all the time. So if you go to Amazon, all of us do, have you tried Rufus? Have you seen now when you go to Amazon, it helps you decide and compare the products as is. Okay, it was so difficult. It's such a convenience to the customers. If I was to buy a food processor, let's say, and I'll go to a Philips, I'll go to an Alsa, I'll go to yet another one, and then I constantly keep on going back and forth and see kya feature the, photo click, screenshot, compare, all of that, and then I want to make my decision. Now you simply ask Rufus on the Amazon and say, help me compare this model of an Alsa, of this Philips, or maybe a third one, in terms of these 2-3 features. Okay, the make, the wattage, the speed. It gives you a summarized version of that. You want to check reviews, the reviews also on top are summarized, that 90% of the people feel this. Where is it coming from? It is the generative AI which is working in the background, synthesizing all the data that is there on the Amazon. Now here is the CAN possibility. Here is what, you don't need the whole internet to give you that information. It is only trained to be in Amazon platform and give you information from there. Okay? So that is how it kind of works. So I'll not play that video. I will go to the next one. The third one is very important. It is the predictive analytics. Now this one is very interesting. Not only does it tell you what your customer wants, it can predict it for your customer even before your customer is not thinking about it. Now that is the intelligence he was bordering towards and saying that's the risk we run. Because it can be used to manipulate our minds. How it does, let's see.
You haven't hit buy now, you haven't even opened the app, but somewhere, an Amazon box is already being sealed, addressed to your neighborhood, maybe your exact street, and you never ordered it. This isn't science fiction. It's Amazon's real-world anticipatory shipping system, a predictive AI designed not just to fulfill your desires, but to preempt them. It doesn't just wait for you to decide, it acts before you do. The system is trained on billions of signals. What you searched, what you buy, how long you hovered over a product, what similar customers purchased next, the time of day you shop, even how often your household replenishes paper towels, diapers, snacks. Your entire digital behavior is treated like a breadcrumb trail. And the AI? It follows the scent until it knows what you'll want before your own mind catches up. Packages can be routed in advance to regional hubs. In some cases, they're placed on delivery trucks heading your way, based solely on what the system predicts you're likely to order. And when the timing's right, boom, a notification hits your phone. We thought you might want this. The button is there. One tap, the package arrives same day. You feel efficient, seen, understood. But here's the real story. You didn't make a decision. You responded to a suggestion from a system that already acted. Amazon's algorithm isn't just speeding up delivery. It's reshaping consumer psychology. Each successful prediction reinforces a behavioral loop. You trust it more, question less, and eventually stop comparing alternatives. It begins subtly, suggesting toothpaste the week you usually run out. But over time it adapts, predicting birthday gifts, wardrobe updates, even impulse buys. One customer reported receiving a book they'd only looked at once. Another was sent dog treats 2 days after adopting a pet. Some call it creepy, others call it magic. But what's really happening is a slow drift away from intent. The moment between wanting something and getting it has been collapsing for years. But anticipatory shipping threatens to eliminate that moment entirely. There's no, maybe I'll wait. No, do I really need this? Just see, suggest, arrive. And Amazon has the scale to make it happen. With hundreds of distribution centers, drones in testing, and regional AI micro models tuned to local behavior patterns, it's not about convenience anymore. It's about preference engineering. Because if the algorithm gets there first, you'll rarely wonder what else was out there. Imagine an entire world where your future choices are quietly queued up behind the scenes, and you only ever see what's already in motion. What happens when predictive shipping becomes predictive living? You stop thinking in options, you start living in defaults. And it's not just Amazon. Other retailers are watching closely. Logistics firms are training similar models. The game is no longer who's question how it got there, or who decided it was yours in the first place. This is Virtuodamus.
Virtuodamus. Okay, so that is what is happening actually. Do you wonder this 10 minutes delivery, 5 minutes delivery, how they are doing it? Because once you go on that platform and you have a history of ordering certain things, 50% of your list is usually repetitive on a certain period or periodic cycle. They know it. You haven't started thinking, you haven't checked in your wardrobe or in your kitchen net that this particular grocery is finishing, okay? But they know it, that you have been ordering exactly after 25 days a 1 kg or a 5 kg of this particular thing. You haven't given it a thought, it will ping you. Isn't it time? And then you go and check and say, my God, it's finishing, I need to order. How does the system know? Virtuodamus. So that is how, but it can manipulate you also. That's how the content you watch is the only content you get to watch. Do you realize that? If you're pro something, you will get pro, more pro. If you are anti something, you will get anti, more anti of that, and the polarization that happens. Those are the risks that we are running in humanity, to speak so. Okay, avatars. Why do we leave avatars behind? So human beings are getting matched by these robots which look like human beings and which talk like human beings. And I'm sure you would have noticed in the last, I think 2 years' time, from what sort of all these AI bots speaking on any platforms, giving you a weather forecast or reading out the news, to what it is today, you sometimes can't really, on a smaller screen, sometimes you can't decipher that it is a human being or it is a bot. Okay? So, that is tomorrow going to do certain jobs which are mundane, which are repetitive. And what it does is, because human beings can't have the same amount of energy from morning till evening for every interaction that they do throughout the day. Okay? They have lot of things happening in their life, in their surround system. They could be upset because of some family issue, they could be having some challenge, financial stuff. Bot doesn't have any of those challenges. If you are powered it with a huge capacity behind it, the bot doesn't fight with a spouse in the morning and throw those tantrums back at your customer. So that is how they are becoming more and more popular, and people want that.
CIC Hospitality is a hotel operator operating 30 hotels today. One of the main challenges that we are tracking when it comes to hotel operation is staffing. It's tough. So this technology kind of steps in and helps us with checking, answering of questions, and even creating room keys.
So I understand you want to check in. Do you want to upgrade to a premium room with special 15% discount?
This avatar will help out our guests in various ways, like checking in, ordering a taxi to the airport.
At what time do you need your shuttle? Drive is approximately 25 minutes.
Or even answering general questions.
3 best restaurants in the region.
We've already seen some great results. Guests kind of love how fast and easy the check-in process is, which of course will improve their stay.
So, this is the journey of generative AI. It can do emotional AI. So, the various names we give it. By end of the day, that's the mother of all AIs. You have agentic AI, you have conversational AI. This is a conversational AI. This you have an emotion AI. Now we can upload all our customer communication files that you calls that you make, the chats that you have, and the mails that you have written to us, and it can sense, is this customer angry? Is this customer happy? Not just from the words, from the tone, inflection, it can read out your, and it can tell my frontline people, sensitive customer, angry, manage well. It can even tell me that which of my frontline agents have been really badly managing the angry customers versus the happy customers, shouting at customers. That's the kind of sense it can create, and that's how it can be used in the business. So these are some of the use cases I thought I will share with you. And well, there is no end to it. I think I would want to call it a wrap because I want Varun to really actually share how to use these tools with you. She's a technical person, she can do much more justice to that. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much.